you know we're live. Because you hear the typing and the breathing. Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Slow tempo because a Monday podcast. Slow tempo because it's Monday podcast. Mason and Remy, live podcast. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Life is complete.
Life is complete.
There is a song.
Oh, the intro song.
The intro song that sounds vaguely familiar to the last song that we had.
I'm turning up the tempo right now so we can get some energy for Monday. Okay? I feel better. Welcome. Hey, it's Mason and Remy. I'm going to turn this down now so we can actually get to talking. We like to take this time on Monday to catch up because Remy and I spend a lot of our time together throughout the week. Like a lot of our time together. So we know a lot about what's going on. And this is the short time where we don't. Like, hey, man, how's your weekend?
Weekend was good.
Yeah? I know you were facing some...
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened this weekend. And do you just want to jump right in, or do you want to give me my weekend was good too, and then we can move on?
You'd have to ask how my weekend was.
How was your weekend?
It was great. It was a great weekend, yeah. But go ahead. I know you had some stuff happening, so what's going on?
Yeah, so, first I got to start off with El Camino. El Camino, the Breaking Bad movie that happened on Friday. I'm not going to give any spoilers here.
I haven't seen it yet, and I don't know if I will, simply because my wife is in town, and when we are watching stuff, it's not that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
She's not into it.
No. And honestly, this is one of those movies that you could probably watch whenever you had time, and you'd be like, oh, okay, cool. It was good to hang out with familiar faces.
Oh yeah, okay. So you got to revisit some characters.
Although this is a minor spoiler, and it's not even like a...
Man, here we go.
It's not even like a big thing. It is a big thing, actually.
We've been live for 5 minutes, and here come the spoilers.
In El Camino, you will notice that, because there is a lot of flashbacks in El Camino, as they're kind of like setting up Jesse's new life.
Uh-huh.
And several of those flashbacks include Todd, the sociopath, white supremacist kid, who... It was so jarring for me because I had just finished up, like I had went back and I watched the last 3 episodes of Breaking Bad just so I could kind of reacquaint myself with the storyline and what had happened and everything. So Todd is part of this white supremacist group that ends up, taking the money and meth and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, he comes back in this movie and he's a little bit bigger. Like he's larger and like
larger, or
like he's gained weight. We'll put it that way. And I didn't realize
is he fat or is he buff? Give me an answer.
Hashtag Fat Todd was trending all weekend long.
Okay.
And I don't want to like body shame.
That's a safe.
I don't want to body shame because it's not
safe spoiler.
It's not his. He did it. I guess I was talking to Captain Mac Douglas over the weekend. And he was saying that he had to gain weight for Fargo, the TV show or the TV series. So he's on Fargo, so he has gained a bunch of weight because of that show, I guess.
Sure, it's for a role.
Again, there's a lot of people claiming that it was fat shaming, and I don't want to do that. But
I'm also playing a fat guy and have been for about 25 years. It
was different because for me it was a little distracting coming from this skinny kid to... everybody's older in this, right?
I was going to say, yeah, life happens, right? That's probably what they're hoping that you'll think.
It's a different thing. It's been, six years now since the last episode of Breaking Bad, but overall, like I said, it was fun to hang out with everybody. There's a lot of mixed reviews, as there always are.
So was that Friday night? I know you had a plan.
Yes, that was Friday night. We did that.
Did you get your popcorn? Did you get to watch?
I didn't.
You didn't popcorn it? Okay.
I
just remember you like, Friday night, I want to watch this.
I think I did Oreos. That
works.
But we got news on Friday that kind of like, I don't know. It just, I was happy to have watched El Camino at all because we got news on Friday that Lauren's cat that she got when she was 24 that lives with grandparents now because this cat and another cat, Callie and Gypsy, both diagnosed with diabetes and need shots daily. And they've had some health problems over the last couple years. And we got some news on Friday that Callie, who is 11 years old, has a couple of masses in her. And after various tests and stuff, they haven't concluded that it is cancerous. But from the vet's experience, he said it's 90%. He's 90% sure that it is cancerous and a very aggressive form of cancer. So we weren't planning on going back home to Bloomington Normal this weekend, but we ended up going back so that Lauren could say goodbye, just in case anything happens while she's not there, which is a very likely thing that could happen. It was so weird because like you never know that the cat was sick. I mean, I always get these vibes from the cats, like, they're judging you because that's what cats do, right? So you're petting the cat, and you're like, you're petting the cat, and all I can think of is that this cat is like, why are you so upset? Why are you hugging me and petting me as much as she got so much love this weekend from Lauren. She pretty much spent the entire weekend with Lauren while I had the kids at my parents' house, and it was just she's had the cat since she was 24. As with any pet that you've come close to, it's tough to let go.
Sure.
And so she got a chance to say goodbye. Should anything happen this week, we were already planning on going back this weekend, so we will be back this weekend, and then we'll be heading on to Chicago to see my brother-in-law and sister in Chicago. So we've had plenty of travels over the past. We will have over the past couple weeks, and we'll be burning up I-55, which I know that you know a lot about. So we'll be doing that again this weekend. But yeah, so it was kind of a melancholy weekend, but at the same time, good. And I think Lauren felt better knowing that she got to say goodbye just in case something happens. But one of these, Gypsy was on her deathbed about 2 or 3 years ago, before they knew she had diabetes. She had lost a bunch of weight. Lauren came home to say goodbye, and this cat just turned around. Gypsy, the fat cat, is back, and she has been cruising and been fine ever since then. So not that a miracle will happen like that, but I'm just saying it's interesting to see these cats who have what life are they on? Are they on their 9th life? Are they on their 7th life? You don't know.
Yeah, people do say they got 9 lives.
But the vet seems to think that this is number 9 for her. But gotcha. Yeah, so it was kind of a melancholy weekend for us. We ended up going back. There's a new company in the Bloomington Normal area called Rivian. They're an electric car.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures from the Discovery Museum.
Yeah, pretty awesome. So Mitsubishi Diamond Star or whatever was a huge manufacturing plant in Normal, which had tons of employees, thousands of people. It was very much like State Farm in the central Illinois area. And they went under, ended up, a lot of people lost their jobs. It was a big deal. And now this Rivian company, this electric car company, who the owner said, or the CEO of the company said, that they had come into Normal just wanting to buy some equipment from the Mitsubishi plant. Mm-hmm. And I guess after that, they were like, we just need to set up shop here. I mean, they've got train tracks. They've got everything they need to have a successful car manufacturing plant. So this electric car company called Rivian, much like Tesla and these guys, will be producing their cars there. And so they had a big reveal of their SUV, which is not cheap. It's like $72,000 base. Mm-hmm. But apparently they're going to be selling their batteries. They're manufacturing their batteries in the area and selling those to Ford and a whole bunch of mainstream car companies that are making electric cars. So innovation happening in town, which is really cool to see.
If I recall, Amazon just ordered a ton of electric semis from them.
Stupid, 100,000 units or something like that. It
sounds a lot like how it was in mid-Michigan, where the GM plant was there, and then it went under, and thousands of jobs, and so on and so forth, although I don't know if they ever had a Rivian come in. So there's a lucky spot there in that jobs can be restored, and a new thing can start. Right now, as we know, at GM plants, there was strikes and no work getting done, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's really just nothing. So
you do the news, more than I do.
Oh, you mean the
strike? GM
yeah,
strike.
Those are still going on.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and actually now UAW, I just read this morning, is striking against, I guess, Mack trucks.
Well, I wonder
that's
here,
3,000 or 4,000 employees, but it's not in Missouri. I think it's Maryland, Florida.
I wonder if those who make electric cars are part of the United Auto Workers. like if it's a union.
Oh, that's a good point.
Or if because it's a whole different thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my weekend in a nutshell. How about you? How was yours?
It was awesome. Had a lot happen. Keaton had some friends come over after school and like hang out for the weekend. So my wife was a little leery because she was by herself for a time there while I was here, and it was her and 3 teenagers. She said they were farting as soon as they got in the car.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if you're ready for it, I mean, you get into a car, you don't know mom, you're like, what's up? just setting the tone, I guess. But no, she said it went well. We didn't, you're unfortunately, I'm very sorry to hear about the cat, and I'm glad that everything is. You got to take the wife and have that moment. But I think we had a good weekend in that the kiddo was happy. His friends left, and then he started talking about how his phone is acting up. And I looked at the data usage, and you know how that little line at the end of your commercial, it always goes, speeds may slow if over 9 gigabytes per month.
Yeah.
He's like 4 times over that. So of course it's going slow. But his birthday's coming up, so I know what he wants.
Data?
Well, he wants a new phone.
Oh,
he thinks
gotcha.
it's a new phone. He thinks that'll help. But also, it's a fine gift that I know he'll like. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Phone's a year or 2 old. I think we got that for him when he was 12. He'll be 15. Next month.
It's time for the upgrade.
Yeah, I'm not like thinking more about the upgrade of him becoming a 15-year-old.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? But that's happened. And last week on this podcast, I talked about my doctor's appointment, and it went well. I got a clean bill of health. Probably gonna find another doctor just because it's weird. But I don't need to go into that. That's just like interaction stuff where I'm like, I feel weird. I feel weird.
It's a big part of it. I mean,
right.
Your doctor's weird. And
It's not the way.
doesn't
I'm not blaming anybody but me.
Sure.
I'm not putting it on anybody but me. I can take responsibility for that. But beyond that, you remember Friday we talked about
Yeah, I was going to ask about this.
the block party.
Please, yeah.
On the show, my neighborhood, first time ever that this has happened to me, and as I explained on the air, Friday, I don't get invited to these things a lot, and you can hear this on the podcast too if you're listening afterwards. But I asked if it was okay. They said, bring a dish to pass. We're shutting down the street. There will be bounce houses. Bring your family out. And of course, it's just me. My wife's out of town. I'm like, do I go? I'd have had to make a conscious effort. I would have had to work hard to not go. You know what I mean? So that's stupid. Friday, I asked if it was okay to pass a dish, and that dish is a 12-pack of beer. So is it okay for me? Which, by the way, I did go shopping. I don't know if you saw my Twitter. I searched for cheese balls.
The Utz cheese balls?
I looked for tubs of cheese balls at 2 different grocery stores, and I asked if we canceled cheese balls at some point because I could not find cheese balls.
You got to go to like a Walmart for those.
See, this is every comment that I got. Walmart,
Yep.
Aldi, my grocery store. You know where they're not? My grocery store, Schnucks.
They're a little below Schnucks Deerberg's level.
But like I went to Schnucks and I'm like, okay, guys, what happened here? Like, what is the puff is here? The original
like
unshaped,
the planters.
Like the cheese puff. I can find Cheetos cheese puffs. I can find oddly shaped things. I can find all of that. What's the problem with balls?
No balls.
We're all God's cheese product. Why can't we all just be in the store? And of course, everybody told me where it was, and it was too late because I was already at home because the street was shut down. And I opted for Oreos.
Nice.
Chips Ahoy cookies, and a box of those Little Debbie snack cakes.
Which ones?
But it was fall. It's a fall party, so I went to Fall Fest.
Oh, was it the trees? Is it a leaf?
They were just
It's a little snack cake with like
little snack cakes that
thing,
were
little
white,
frosting in the
that
middle.
were white. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
It was just fall cakes, which were great. But I got to meet a lot of neighbors, and I'm not really that. And also, the 12-pack of beer, I put that in a cooler and brought it. So there was, as I walked out my front door, to the right are like bounce houses. I took a picture. I can show you.
Okay.
And to the left, just a fire pit and a bunch of chairs and a bar with a TV set up.
Nice.
Because the Cardinals game was on.
Cardinals.
Yeah. So I'm going to show this to the camera here. Maybe you can get a look. These are the bounce houses that were right outside of my front window. That's literally out my front window. So you want to take a look at that. Pretty big stuff. Pretty
Very
big
nice,
stuff.
very
Huge
nice.
stuff. They rented them. You know what I mean? So that was the kids section. What I was told was down here where the TV was and people were smoking around a bar. That's the adult section.
Yeah.
So I went, all right, I took my snack cakes over here and I took my beer over there and I set it down. And I said, hey guys, how are you? I'm Mason. I live over here. You know, they're like, oh, you know, I've lived here 20 years. And a lot of the people have young kids at the front of the complex. Like they're the, what do you call it? Subdivision?
Yeah.
The street. So they're always out there playing. And then down at the end, there's, you know, some older folks that live down there and a little more adult. Their kids are in high school. One of them was going to homecoming. Shout out Edwardsville Hoco.
Columbia's was over the weekend, too.
They were all taking pictures and stuff, and parents were coming over. And I was walking away when my neighbor Tom goes, Mason, you a DJ? You know, it was after like an hour of hanging. And I go, yeah, and I've got my cooler, and he goes, she goes, is that your dish to pass? And I said, yeah, nobody wants that. Like zero people took a beer.
Really?
Zero people.
Oh, because they probably thought that because it's your cooler, that's your beer.
I told everyone, I said, this cooler is going to be sitting here, you know what I mean? But everybody was already stacked with their beer.
Sure.
They were all prepared. But it was funny. She said she heard me talking about it. And asked if that was the dish to pass. And then, of course, you know, he knows a guy that works in radio, and it opens up conversations as I'm not just the weird guy that lives in the middle of the street who's here by himself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it helped. And I made some friends. And, like, you know, the people on my street, it was nice. When I always say, and I tell this to you, I always wave, and they're, like, not waving at me. I got straight, like ignored from one person that lives down the street from me. Like, walked next to me, talked to the person next to me, made a point to not acknowledge me there, which is fine. I don't care about that. But there was people at the front who said, hello, it's nice to meet someone I wave to all the time. And I was like, yes. She goes, it's so hard to get people to wave when they're coming in here. And I was like, I know, I'm always waving to people. And they're like, I'm doing things. You know what I mean? And they're off over here.
So there was one person that like avoided you the entire time?
I met her husband, and like, you know, if you're out there, and I'm like, if you're out there talking to me and you don't know me, but you know I'm your neighbor. Yeah. And your wife walks up, wouldn't there
be a
hey? It's like a hey, and I'm standing right there, and she would just like ignore. She talked to a guy that was next to me, and I was just kind of like you know, I don't want to interrupt or be weird, but I'm just like waiting to be like hello, and then just turns and walks, and that's fine. I'm not working at it. Yeah. And that's okay. I met her husband, nice guy. They told me the story of the people who used to live in my house. Apparently it was a fly-by-night roofing company that came in after a storm. 5 dudes lived there with like 5 giant trucks. They let the lawn get to like 1.5 feet. They did not tell me this when I rented my house. They said an older woman lived there by herself. And they were like, and I said that, and they're like, they're like, oh, Connie was the sweetest. Like they all knew her. But they were like, those guys, they had this truck that they would start up every night at 11 o'clock. She called them like, and so like the neighbor next door got them all kicked out.
So the people that lived in your house just before you moved in was a roofing company.
Yeah, like they said they're from Texas, and they just came up and were like hustling people. And so at least that's what
it's a good place to hustle. I feel like that area gets hit with hail like whatever. You did 2 or 3 years where you got a bunch of roofs that need to be replaced.
It's a decent question. I'm a renter.
Well, it's nice. I guess I say it's nice, but you know, you can usually get an insurance claim for a new roof before you actually need a new roof, if that makes sense.
No, but it was cool to meet, you know, some of the neighbors, and then my wife got back into town on Sunday, and we watched a show on Netflix, Big Mouth. It's Nick Kroll and John Mulaney. It's a great show, but it tells you a lot about our sense of humor and who we are and what we find funny as well. But it's just it's nice. My wife's been gone for almost 2 weeks, so it's nice to have a little bit of normalcy return.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, I think it was just kind of a calm weekend for me. Besides that, the party, you know what I mean?
How long did you stay at the party? Was it like you were shutting it down? Or?
Blockparty started at 3, and I was like, well, I'm not going to go right out there. It's weird. They're still setting up. And once I saw some people out there about 3:30, 4 o'clock, I went out and dropped off my stuff and said hello to my immediate neighbors, you know, made the first like round, like, hello, are we neighbors? That was my line. Hey, are we neighbors? That was how I walked up to everybody. I think so.
You get an immediate yes. That's
right? Yeah, see? I handle social situations well. But I walked up and I shook hands. We live over here. We live over there. Nice to meet you. I met the neighbor across the street who organizes it. They talked about the homeowners association, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I'll see you. And I kind of, because I just rent.
Yeah.
And then walked down to the adult section where I met more folks who.
So did they pull money from the homeowners association to pay for the bounce houses and stuff?
I don't know.
That's that'd be an interesting. I'd be interested.
I'm a renter.
Yeah. So,
I don't know.
You're whoever
hate me,
owns
right?
the home. Well, no, they don't hate you,
No,
but
no,
whoever owns the home
I'm
is
useless
paying
to them.
the homeowners association fees.
Right, and I did not meet them, or anybody else, because I stayed down near the adult section as the Cardinals game was on, and then it went into a Blues game that was on, and we were just talking. So, and when I'd go back, it'd be like, I'm gonna get an Oreo or a plate of mac and cheese. I did eat a plate of someone's mac and cheese.
Nice.
Which is a big step for me.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Was it different than Kraft, or was it like?
No, it was good.
Like
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. It was well done. It might have just been Velveeta, but I don't know. It was good. It's mac and cheese. But other than that, like that was Saturday, and I did a dumb. I worked with another YouTube creator over the weekend for the video game that I play.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna start like a little, not a podcast, but I am going to podcast it. He wants to put it on YouTube. There's no way to make money in podcasts right now.
Well, there is.
At least for us.
If you've
At
got
least
like
for us.
millions of audience.
At least for us. So what we're doing is we're going to take that podcast and put it on YouTube because you can monetize it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
just
So
throw up a video.
So this week I'm working with him on that, and I think he's putting out the first episode tomorrow, and then I get the episode day after that, and then he gets a third episode, and then this weekend I'll podcast that on the video game podcast channel that Keaton and I have. I talked with him last time he and I hung out, and I was like, dude, if you want to interview some of your friends about games, put it up there. I'm going to talk with this one guy about stuff and do it. I'd love to talk to other gamers.
So this will go on the Gaming Guide podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And what is the mysterious YouTube channel you're plugging right now?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be by any means. My video game stuff is on Invisinerd. It's in the Twitter, like on my Twitter profile, it says like secretly Invisinerd, and on the other one it says secretly Mason Show. So I'm not secretly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, my Invisinerd stuff is that I stream like on Twitch every week, and I have a YouTube channel. But it's video game stuff, and if you're not into it, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know. But that's and I know you do too. I know you've been working on YouTube stuff as well. So.
Oh yeah. It's been a lot of fun to talk about corals and stuff.
We'll show your little tank behind you that you're working on.
Yeah. So this is
The other way.
So this is what they call a Pico tank because it is less than 5 gallons.
It's got a tiny little tank right there.
But there's nothing in it right now. It's cycling right now.
Oh, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you're missing out on seeing Remy point at his little tank.
I was like, there's a windowsill here. It's about 7 inches deep. I was like, that's a perfect size for a small little tank. So we've got a tank up here.
A little sand in there, a little bit of a rise of rock, right?
Yeah.
Some rock, and you're trying to get the water to balance right to possibly get something in there living.
Yeah, I need to toss a heater in there. And potentially an auto top off. We'll see. It's just the issue is that once we hit into winter here, it's
that window might get cold.
Well, it's going to start to get dry, and yeah, it'll definitely get colder by the window, but it'll get dry, and you'll get more evap than you normally would. Evaporation.
Can't have that evap.
So the water leaves, but the salt doesn't ever leave. So when the water leaves and the salt's still in there, you have a higher salt content, which is you want to make everything as balanced as possible. So
obviously.
If I get an automatic top off,
don't want that evap.
That will help.
I feel you.
But yeah. So that's my little tank.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to cover? We probably should get to work, I guess.
Yeah, let's go.
Unless there's something else.
No, all good.
This is how we like to start Monday, our Monday podcast for our mundane lives that are anything but mundane. Thank you for hanging out. We are on Facebook Live if you're listening to this, and I think we'll do this. You like this? We'll do this next Monday.
Let's do it.
Tanya, Sharon, how are your weekends? Thank you so much for coming
Sharon's
by.
color run.
We appreciate you. I think I saw Todd's head, her husband's head. This is where we chat about the weekend and what was going down and in our lives. Because we're on the air in the afternoon, we don't exactly get 10 minutes to just talk about this stuff.
That's true. Or half an hour for that matter.
Right. Because this went for a half an hour. But you could also join the show and hear us every afternoon on New Country 92.3. Download the app. You can catch our podcasts there on the app or anywhere on Podcast One is our home. That's the place that we find our podcasts, Remy's podcast, my podcast. All of our stuff is there, and the company owns a piece of it. You know what I mean? So, we can post all the stuff there, all the segments from the show, and this as well, which will also, I'll probably put this on our YouTube channel, because I think we're planning on doing more of this kind of stuff in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Would you
got some plans for early next year to do all that?
Would you say we should do it here on Facebook, on the New Country Facebook, or would you say we could do it on YouTube, or would you say?
There's always going to be more people on Facebook. That's just the bottom line.
Than YouTube?
Than YouTube. For our purposes, the audience. We can grow the audience on YouTube. I'm totally cool with that, but that's just going to take some time. I don't know that we're going to have 8 people watching, on YouTube, but we can always try for sure. I'm cool. I'd love to do both at the same time.
That's possible.
And Instagram. And Periscope or Twitter is just kind of like...
You might be able... there are if you search multi-stream platforms, there are those.
I think that would be the most effective. Obviously, it would just be on them all at the same time.
The issue comes with, like, when you get to a point on YouTube and they're like, we're your spot, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, yeah, but all this other stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you can you do super chats on Facebook? You can't do that.
No, they have different things for every platform now. Yeah. If you want to go Mixer, it's this. It's Bits at Twitch. It's super chats at YouTube.
YouTube, if you've ever watched anybody in a live stream, you might see something pop up in the chat that's like $1.99 and then a message, and it's big and bold, and you can see it.
It's funny that they don't just call it a donation, because it's called a donation on Twitch.
Yeah, and the thing is like, I don't know if they call it on the back end of Super Chat in YouTube land or the ecosystem, but it's not like labeled a Super Chat. I think that might just be like the loose terminology for a donation or whatever on YouTube.
I think that everybody in these streaming platforms is all just trying to mimic each other. You know what I mean? Plus it's a way to generate revenue for a streamer. You know what I mean? People make donations, $1 here, $1 there. You got a bunch of people doing it, But everybody headed to work, I guess. Let's go. You ready to do that?
Let's go.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well. I'm at Mason Show.
I'm at Remy Radio.
That's right. That's right under our names if you're watching this. And thank you for watching and for listening.